here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream to prep Angel's skin with. I go in pretty heavy with skincare, especially a moisturizer, because I want the skin to be plumped and hydrated for the complexion products we use atop of it. So you saw me there apply this to the general areas of the face, such as the forehead, cheeks, nose, and chin, before I begin to massage this product into the skin. And try not to forget to bring the moisturizer down the neck and chest. Next up, for foundation, I'm using the GLAM Skinfinite Hydrating Foundation and applying this on with a makeup sponge. Now, the shade I'm using here is Golden, which, if you can tell, is a couple shades tanner than her face, but matches her neck and chest perfectly. I want everything to look seamless, so that's why I'm matching the shade to her neck. A lot of times with my clients or models, they get spray tans and choose not to spray their face and leave it up to the foundation to match everything up. I do the same thing personally. It works like a charm, so that's what we're doing here today. Now that we have this applied, I'm using the GLAM foundation again, this time in the shade Camel, and using this to bronze up her skin and give it some structure, similar to that of contouring. I'm lightly applying this to the hollows of her cheekbones, the perimeter of the forehead, and a bit around the nose before further blending it in with a sponge. Now, of course, if you feel more comfortable bronzing and contouring with powders, then go for it, but I do encourage you to eventually try out different techniques. Maybe just save it for a time. You don't have to leave the house, just in case it doesn't turn out the way you like it, which, chances are, the first time around, it probably won't. And that's okay. You can always wipe it off and try it again. Even to this day, I'll experiment with new techniques. Wait till the house is quiet. The kids are asleep, the dog is minding his own business. Grab a glass of wine, throw on some good music, and just play around with makeup in the mirror, And who cares if you turn out looking like a clown? Who's there to judge you? The dog? It's just makeup. It's not that serious. Have fun with it. Try out some new techniques and see what happens. All right, now that we have this blended in, I'm going to use this Makeup Forever HD Concealer in the shade 22 to conceal around the eyes and highlight down the bridge of the nose before also blending this in with the sponge. As for the placement, I'm applying this from the inner corner of the eye down to the nostrils and then back up towards the temples. I really want to brighten this area of the face, almost making it look like there's a spotlight on her at all times. And I'll also use this concealer to conceal the upper eyelid, but I'm not placing more concealer onto that upper eyelid. I'm just using whatever I have left over on my sponge to transfer up onto that area. So I'm going to spend a moment finishing up on this blend, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so for that next step, I'm taking the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder and using this to set these products into place with a powder puff. I start with setting the products around the eyes first, per usual, because this is, this area is usually first to crease, and then I'll move on to setting the rest of the face, and then we'll finally get into using the House Labs Casa Gaga Italian Glam Collection. I've really been looking forward to sharing this partnership with y'all, because when the brand gave me the collection a little while back, they literally said, Spence, here's the product, it's fabulous, play around with it, get a feel for it, and share your 100% honest thoughts about it in your tutorial. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the business side of things when it comes to partnerships, and I also don't want to get myself into trouble because sometimes I say a little too much, but basically, for a brand to partner up with a creator such as myself and give me complete creative control of how I want to demonstrate the product and allow me to share however I feel about the product, good or bad, is nearly unheard of in this industry. And to me, not only as a content creator, but as a consumer, that is the biggest mic drop. You know what I mean? To me, that just shows their confidence and pride in this collection. So with all that said, I'm going to stop rambling. Let's get on into this. I'm going to start out using the House Laboratories Casa Gaga 2T Gel Powder All Over Rouge in the shade Bellini and working this product into the cheeks. I love this new formula they came out with. It's exactly as it says in the name. It's a gel powder hybrid. So it smooths and sculpts the cheeks. You can even use it to add color onto the lips if you want. It's very lightweight and it adds a beautiful pop of color. They came out with 4 different colors in this blush formula. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you the swatches now and list them down below in the order I swatched them. But the shade Bellini really spoke to me. I love how it looks. Angel loves how it looks. And later on, towards the end of the tutorial, you'll see me layer on another shade to really make the cheeks pop. Next up, I'm using House Laboratories Casa Gaga 2T Gel Powder Highlighter and using this to highlight the skin. This, just like the blushes, is a gel powder formula, so it really grips onto the skin, blends out beautifully, and gives this incredible golden hour glow. And by the way, I'm applying this on with their Italian Glam Highlighter brush, which is the perfect size and density for this. You'll even see me use these two together later on to highlight her décolletage, but this shade is really, really universal. Over the last few weeks, I've used it on fair skin tones. I've used it on deep skin tones. It really looks beautiful on everyone. And as you can see here, it adds that luxurious sheen to her skin without looking overly like shimmery or glittery. You know what I mean? It just looks expensive and adds that sun-kissed glow that looks incredible on everyone. All right, moving on to the brows, I'm using the Edge Precision Brow Pencil, also from House Laboratories, and using this to fill in and shape her brows. Now, I'll say this. Every other product I'm using today from House Labs, specifically the Italian Glam collection, I've been using for a few weeks now on different skin tones and skin textures because I really wanted to be as thorough as possible in this tutorial and keep everyone in mind when I'm speaking of these products. But this is the first time I'm using their brow pencil, which is crazy because I've heard so many great things about it. I know it's won awards and all these great things, but I don't know. I don't know why I never got around to using it. I think I just get stuck in my ways sometimes with products. You know what I'm saying? We get used to using the same products over and over and over again. But now that I've used this, I do see what all the hype is about and why there are so many fans of it. The tip of the pencil is really precise to draw on those natural looking hair-like strokes. It's a long wear formula that doesn't budge or move around, and it comes in 13 inclusive shades. The shade I'm using here on Angel is medium brown, which is perfect for her because both her and I love a darker, neutral toned brow on her. Against her platinum blonde hair, it looks really bold and edgy, and yeah, we love it. So I'm going to finish up on the other brow off camera and then start on the eyes using this shade here from the House Laboratories Love for Sale eyeshadow palette. Now, I'm just using this one shade across the upper lid for this. You can use any neutral brown shade you have already at home, or use the one I'm using today if you already have this eyeshadow palette. But I'm keeping the shadow pretty simple since most of the drama is going to be in the eyeliner today. I only dipped into the shadow once for the upper lid, which was more than enough to give me the depth and dimension I want, before also blending this through the lower lash line. And quite honestly, if you're looking for a more natural look with a little mascara and maybe some gloss, this would be such a beautiful final result as is. But we're going for that Italian glam today. So with that said, I'm heading over to the House Laboratories limited edition Casa Gaga liquid eyeliner and using this to elevate this look into a bold statement. And if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know if there's anyone who's going to mess up an eyeliner, it's going to be me. I don't have steady hands, and liquid eyeliners are naturally more difficult for me to use. So the fact that I'm just gliding this on so effortlessly says something. This eyeliner is super pigmented. It has 24-hour wear. It's smudge proof and has the perfect consistency to it, which is why I think it's easier for me to do this winged liner today than it is usually for me with other liners I've used in the past. And you can see once I've created the base structure of that winged liner on the upper lash line, I can start little by little finessing it into the final shape I want from it. So I drag it underneath to the lower lash line and extend that wing outwards for that extra drama I'm looking for today. The fun thing about this Italian glam look we're creating today is that it's not really one particular look. It's whatever your interpretation of it is. And I've been spending the last couple of weeks in Italy. I just got back, and I've noticed that it's not necessarily how the women or men are doing their makeup, but it's how they're wearing it. Does that make sense? Yes, the glam itself is bold, but there's also a certain confidence and strength and pride that comes with that Italian glam. So, I say all that to say, you can take what you want from this, put your own twist on it, and own it, baby. Wear the glam, don't let the glam wear you. Alrighty, for mascara, I'm using Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara and running this through the upper and lower lashes. I do love a chunky bottom lash on Angel, so that's what I'm going to go for today. And for the top lashes, I am adding on falsies. I applied them off camera because I created my own by applying individuals to a strip lash just to customize the shape I want for her. I created a whole tutorial on it already. I'll link it down below if you want to watch it. But once I have those applied, I'm going to add a little extra color to her cheeks using the Tucci Gel Powder all over rouge again, but this time in the shade Rossini, which is a beautiful pinky orange shade that complements the apricot coral shade we used earlier. You all know by now that I'm a sucker for blush. I love layering it and mixing together different shades, and this is a perfect example why. It just adds so much life to the skin. And because I feel like being a little extra today, I'm adding a beauty mark to her cheek for that classic Italian movie star vibe, and it's also a great little trick to use to disguise texture from a blemish you may have. Now for the lips, I'm using the Buxom Powerline Plumping Lip Liner in the shade High Def Honey to line her lips with. You've probably seen me use this a couple of times by now on my channel. I think it makes for the perfect neutral nude shade to complement the lipstick we'll pair with it next. The lipstick I'll be using today is from the House Laboratories Tanti Baci Extreme Cream Mini Lipstick Set. I'll go ahead and show you all 5 swatches of the lipsticks here, but the shade I'm using today is the one to the very left called Marcello. These are mini lipsticks, so it looks like this in the packaging, and I'm applying this straight to the center of the lip. These lipsticks are a demi satin finish, finish. They have that high impact color to them. They feel extremely comfortable on the lips, and I love that they come in a set of minis. It's so convenient to throw in your purse or your pocket and go about your day with. The same goes for the glosses. The gloss I'm using on top of this lipstick is the Casa Gaga La Luce Lip Glaze in the shade Caramella d'Oro, but here's swatches of all 3 shades that came out with in this lip glaze. I like applying this to the very center of the lip for that high impact shine and dimension it gives. The shimmer in these lip glazes are super finely milled, so it doesn't feel gritty or tacky or anything like that. They leave your lips feeling moisturized and hydrated, accenting the color from the lipstick beneath it. For one of my favorite steps of the GLAM process, I'm heading back to that Casa Gaga Tutti Gel Powder Highlighter and running this across the collarbone and shoulders. This extra step makes all the difference. Literally makes your skin look like a 24-karat bar of gold, doesn't it? By the way, per usual, everything I've used today I'll link down below in the description box. The day I'm releasing this tutorial is the day the collection is officially available for purchase through the House Labs website or on Amazon, so I'll use those links down below if you want to check it out for yourself. But as for this tutorial, the last product I'm using is the MAC Fix Plus spray to set this makeup into place, which makes this the final step in how I created this Italian glam movie star look on our naturally beautiful model.